to you. So we are recording. So it's over to you, gorgeous.
Thanks, Denise. Hi, everybody. First of all, before I even get into any of this, just to say to Denise and to all of you, thank you so much for having me here. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you and to share with you, my take on branding and how I can support you on your journey. I know you've just all started on the 12-week program, so welcome. I hope you're having a great time. I'm sure you are, because Denise is absolutely amazing. We've known each other, I think we were working this out the other day, about 18 months, almost 2 years, but it feels like forever. So yeah, you're in such great hands, and I have so much love and adoration and respect for Denise and the work that she does. So yeah, just wanted to say thank you for having me here, and yeah, let's get cracking. So what would be really great, I'm not sure how we can do this, I don't know who else is on the call, but I would actually like to find out from you guys. Denise, did you get any questions? Did anyone ask any questions before the Zoom call?
I didn't have any. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
I didn't have any questions prior. So I think if we start, they can go to the chat box. Everyone go to the chat box if they have a question for you. And I would encourage you to go to the chat box. Janice and Julie are in the house at the moment. And I think we're all starting at sort of ground zero. We all need to know what's the starting point for branding? What are the key things we should know? What could we put into place immediately? That would be from my perspective. But Janice and Julie, please go to the chat box and put any questions in there.
Yeah, so please, jump on and ask any questions. And if there's anything that I said and you need to clarify as we go, and I'd be happy to go over that. So, okay, so Julie, let's just get this. Julie says, hi, Gozi, I'm new, I'm a therapist, and I'm sure about branding for business moving forward. Okay, great. So we'll just start from the beginning and jump on, ask questions as we go along. So basically, let's start from, what is branding? So a lot of people actually think that branding is our logos or our websites and the colors that we use, and really the identity, our identity out in the world. Now, that is part of branding. That is definitely a key part of branding, but branding is actually the holistic view of your business. It's looking at strategically, who are you in your business? Who are you out there for your clients? How do you do what you do? Why do you do what you do? Who do you do it for? So it's really looking at the whole picture. Like, think about it like a looking down on everything that your business does and how it worked. That's really what branding is there for, and that's the foundation of building a really solid business. So that's why we do branding. That's why it's important that we have our branding right. So most people kind of say, like, okay, so if it's all of these things, then where do I begin? Like, what's the most important thing? Like, where do I want to start? Or actually, why do I want to brand? Like, why is it so important? Surely sales is the most important thing. So branding is a strategy that you're going to use to build your business, as sales is a strategy, as marketing is a strategy. And all these different facets are different strategies that you want to use to build your business. And that's why we use, and one way to build your business is doing branding. So really, from all the research that I've done, from all the people that I've worked with, from all the brands that I've built, 3 things are really why people want to brand and really want to get this right. 1 is they want to attract that ideal client. 2 is they want to differentiate themselves in the marketplace. And 3 is they want to grow their business. I know you're going to be going through some stuff with Denise about building your ideal client, but branding is such a key facet to actually attracting your ideal client. So before we get into that, let's kind of peel it all back to the very, very beginning. Why do you do what you want to do? So I'm just going to ask, so Julie, I think, was it Julie who asked me the question? Hypnotherapist, right? So Julie, I don't know if you can jump on with the audio, but I just want to find out from you, like, why did you choose to be a hypnotherapist? Like, what was that? What is it about hypnotherapy that really enticed you or caught your attention, and that's where you felt like you really wanted to make an impact in the world?
I'm seeing if I can unmute her. You might be able to unmute her, Ghazi, because you're the host now.
Right. So participants, view list. Here we go. Right. Are you able to speak now, Julie? Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. I can hear you perfectly. So yeah, I'd just love to find out, what was it about hypnotherapy that really...
Yeah, so some years ago, I was a police officer and I had a road traffic accident. So that really ended my career. So I had to deal with pain and fatigue as a result of that. And I'd been to some other therapists in Hull for quite some time, and decided, this was 20 years ago, that would be something that I would like to do, like the kind of holistic approach that they did.
Amazing.
But I wasn't in a financial position then to be able to pursue that. So that went on the back burner. I became a senior management area manager with a facilities management company and went on to that. And then last year, I had the finances to be able to train. So I did all of my training, but while I was training, I realized that although I was going to be a very good hypnotherapist, I've got some talents and some skills, that I needed to know how to run a business.
Right.
And that was key. So I was very passionate about wanting to help people in a different way, rather than going to the doctors and using therapeutic ways of making people better. And so it was that my passion is about. And because I've suffered with chronic pain, which has created anxiety and some depression, I was able to help my husband get better.
Amazing.
And my father, and so on and so forth. So I thought, why don't I get paid to do it?
Absolutely amazing. So if I ask you, when you think about what you'd love to do, like what kind of impact you'd like to make through hypnotherapy, like what comes to your mind?
The thing that comes to mind with is the different style and technique. So I've got, although I'm Ericksonian trained, I have rapid inductions and instant deepeners. So I don't go through all this rigmarole of 40 minutes to get you where I need you to be. That's what makes me different from all the rest of them.
Right,
so
great.
My technique is different, but
Okay.
I still get the same result.
So when we're building a brand, one of the first places for us to start is thinking about what is our vision. What is it that we actually really want to impart with the world, with our clients? You know, what is the dent that we want to make in the world? What is the legacy that we want to leave behind? And I heard something, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, when you were speaking, I heard, you know, you want to give people a different way to ease their pain. You want to, you know, give them, you know, you have different techniques, and you want to bring, you know, back sort of like vitality and aliveness to people through a different way. Is that spot on? Right. So, you know, when we're building our brand, we want to kind of start with the really the biggest picture, which is our vision, right? So, and then you want to start whittling that down into, you know, so if that's like the big vision, we want to, you know, ease pain or show a different way to ease pain. What is going to be like our mission, right? And the mission is really the way that you start narrowing down, and a way that you can actually measure how it is that you're making a dent in society, in the world. So, you know, if I said to you, Julie, so out of, you know, everyone out there, and you want to make this, you know, give people a different way of pain, really, what would be, how would you know that you've done that?
That I'd had a good effect on them would be by feedback.
So think about it from this side. Would it be something like, or could it be by impacting 1,000 people in the UK, or 100,000 people, or 10,000 people in the next 5 years? Like, how would you know you were causing a different effect on how people dealt with pain? Like, could you give a specific, like, measurable ways for you to kind of know that you're hitting your vision?
I wouldn't at the moment. I wouldn't know how many clients I'm reaching and helping manage pain. That would be only, I would only know that by the amount of clients that I've already seen.
Right.
Any.
So, and this is absolutely great. So what we're trying to do, and thank you for really, you're playing so well, by the way. Thank you so much. So this really works well to identify for everyone else who's listening and watching on the replay, to start thinking about how they're going to do this as well. So thank you so much, Julia. I really want to acknowledge you for that. So with, just like with the vision, when we're thinking about, you know, our bigger picture and the kind of legacy, you know, blue ocean thinking that we want to have. Our mission can also be, you know, and it doesn't have to be like huge. Like, you know, I have some clients who say things like to impact 1 billion lives, you know, in the next 20 years type of thing. And it's not about, you know, having to throw away like big numbers, but it's just a guidance system. So your mission is really your guidance system to know that you are on path, or you're on your way to really making that vision come to life. So the reason why I'm asking you to not think about sort of like future, like, you know, start thinking like forward, because these are the things that are going to call you forward in your business. These are the things that are going to start driving you to, you know, when you're writing your content, when you're creating your logo and your website. These are all the things that are going to start feeding into all of that stuff as we get, you know, as we move along. So with the mission, it's more like a guidance system. It's kind of like, you know, in the next 5 years, I'd love to be able to work with 500 people, or, you know, 1,000 people. I'm just putting numbers out there, but something like that. So is that making sense now?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah, thank you. I get that now.
Okay, fantastic. So when we start building our brand, we want to start thinking about, you know, these are the building blocks: your vision, your mission, and then we go into other work, like, you know, figuring out what our brand values are and our brand mission, brand purpose. And again, I will actually be sending you. I wrote an ebook. All on branding, as a gift to all of you in this program. You'll be getting my ebook. Okay. So don't worry too much about everything that I'm saying, because you can definitely follow the steps in the book. But the reason why we start doing this work at the beginning, our brand mission, our vision, our purpose, is so that we can. These are the building blocks. This is where we start thinking of. You know, this is where our ideal clients, like, potentially can start, you know, coming up. We can start thinking, oh, okay, you know what, if I want to, you know, reach 1,000 people, I've got background in, you know, I mean, you were saying you were in the police force, correct?
Yeah.
You know, I have a background, I have a community of police officers. Perhaps, you know, I could work with the police force, and this would be a way that I could do this. I'm not saying that's what you should do. I'm just giving an example of how, you know, you could do that. So we want to, you know, that's the reason why we kind of like start there. And really, this starts helping us also really clarify what we do and how we do what we do. So your brand vision is really what you do, and your mission is how you do that. Like, how are you going to do it? And then you want to start thinking about why are you doing what you're doing. So what is your brand purpose? Why do you get out of bed every day? You know, why is it important that you show up? Why is it important that you solve this problem for your clients, for your potential clients? And when we start articulating all of these, we can start getting a really clear, and every clarity is king when it comes to branding, right? Like, being super clear on what you're doing, how you're doing it, who you're doing it for, will always benefit you all the time. Like, I can't say it enough, like, clarity is king, because once you have solid answers for this, and you're really in line and aligned with what you're doing and how you want to do this, then all the other stuff comes across like a lot easier.
So it's like a foundation then, isn't it?
Absolutely, that's exactly what it is.
It's like building a house. Yeah.
I could not say it better myself, Julie. It's exactly like building a house. You're building your business, and it's one part that a lot of people kind of skip, because people think about sales, or they think about marketing, they think about how do I need to go on Facebook and email people, or share on my page about my products, my services. But if you don't know who you're doing it for, and why you're doing it, and how you want to do it, the right people are not going to find you. They're not going to know who you are. They're not going to be aligned with you. They're not going to actually want to do business with you over and over and over again.
Okay, yeah? I understand.
So it's really important that we go through the step, and we actually really, exactly like you said, put the foundations in, so we can start building our business. Do you have any questions at this point? Anyone? Denise, you want to jump in, ask any questions?
I'm okay, thank you.
Yeah. No, I think this is really good. This is a really good base for everyone to start building from. So I'm really enjoying it. Janice, I'm gonna, I don't know if Janice is unmuted, but Janice, Janice, do jump in if you have any questions.
I think I can unmute Janice from here.
Okay.
Hang on, Janice, I will unmute you. Give me 1 second. Janice, I've unmuted you. Can you hear us fine?
It came up on my screen. I mute myself.
Great. Do you have any questions at this point, Janice? Hello, welcome.
Thank you. And what you've said so far this makes perfect sense. I guess I myself, I've kind of, what I'm doing is I'm a relationship coach for Christian women between 18 and 35.
Amazing.
So I'm not, my thought is that, okay, so where do these people hang out? I know they're very, very much on Instagram, but as others know, I'm having a speaking event that speaks to that demographic come next week. So as you're talking, I'm thinking, okay, I need, like, all today I was thinking, okay, how can I really make the most out of being there, and what can I put out, what can I say that will generate a lot of interest, that would they want to come and seek me out. So I'm kind of get that, this whole branding is very much about, look, okay, I've got this in my heart to do.
Yeah.
I need these people to find me.
Absolutely. So you've just hit on a couple of things that are really, really, really important, and you're actually quite far ahead, because you've identified. Is it both men and women, or Christian women only?
It's just women at the moment.
Okay. So Christian women, are these women who want to be in a relationship, want to get married, just start dating? So you take them through the spectrum of being in a relationship, correct?
Yep.
Fantastic. So this is really great. You've identified who your clients are. You've identified the age range, which we'll come back to that in a second. The age range, and you've also identified something really, really critical, which is where they hang out. You said Instagram. I mean, if I could reach on through the Zoom and give you a high five.
High five. Okay, I high five.
I'll give you a high five, Janice. Because, that is like, it's so important. Like, you really hit the nail on the head from, going through exactly who they are, where they are. That so there's something, and you'll see in the ebook I talk about ways of finding your ideal clients. And one method is what you've just talked about, which is identifying sort of like, what kinds of people do you want to work with? And for you, Janice, Christian women, bingo. How old is your demographic? 18 to 35-year-olds. Are they, so you've identified them being online. Would you be doing anything offline, like geographically, or are you going to be doing all your work online?
I'd like to do both.
Okay.
Because my discussion with our Denise was that I know young people, they like to come together, they like to meet, they want to meet, and they want to mingle. So that in itself will generate an opportunity for them to meet people, and just to kind of put what we've been going through into practice.
Absolutely. So for you, again, which is really clear, they are online and they're offline, right? and then we know where they, you know, what social platforms they hang out on. Instagram, you were very clear about that. Some other questions as well to throw in and to think about would be things like, you know, how much money do they earn? What kind of things do they like? You know, what's really important to them right now in their life? Because when you can start kind of putting yourself in the shoes of your ideal client, you can start to begin to get what their pains are, what they're really struggling with. And you start thinking like them. You start thinking like them, which means that you can start answering their questions. And you can start speaking their language. Right? Absolutely. So, you know, like I said, Janice, if I could reach down and give you a high five, awesome, great job. The one thing I will just, you know, question mark on is the age gap, or the age range, 18 to 35, is quite a broad age range.
Okay.
Yeah. And the only reason why I say that is because if you think about sort of how 18 to 25-year-olds speak, and how 25 to 30-year-olds and 30 to 35-year-olds, how they talk to each other, and how they, you know, how much money they earn, and what's important to them, it's all slightly different. Now, one thing you can do, if that's, you know, if that's the group of people you really do want to work with, one thing you can do is start thinking about what you choose to reach them will be slightly different. So just something to think about, how you're going to do that, because I'm not saying it's impossible. Of course, it's very possible to be able to articulate yourself, you know, in such a way that it lands for that spectrum. But I always try to, you know, say, if you can run a tight ship and you can, you know, really keep it as narrow as possible, because, you know, there's a great saying in business: you want to go an inch wide and a mile deep. So if you can keep it as narrow as possible and as, you know, deep and potent as you can, that's such a great way to build that relationship, that loyalty, that trust with your ideal clients. Yeah.
Thanks so much for that.
Yeah.
I mean, the only mine's kind of going all over the place right about now, because I definitely get from like the 30s upwards, they earn that much more. But I guess why I wanted to include the younger age is because they're just so lost, you know. They need guidance, they need direction, and you know, they need the strategy so that they don't make the same mistakes that we did.
Absolutely. And you know what? And that's why I was saying it's about making sure that in terms of like your business model, which you will go through with Denise, right? Your business model is making sure that you have something that can reach everyone, you know, or way that you bring everyone together in that age group with slightly different products that speaks to different people, and how they actually want to do business with you, right? So it's just making sure that from, you know, as if you are my client, I'd advise you and say, just want to make sure that your messaging really hits everyone properly, because you know, if I think about myself at 18 and myself at 35 as a woman, there's so, you know, the messaging or the content, and also they would also take in the content differently. So you just want to be aware of that. And if anyone who's watching on the replay and stuff like that as well, it's just to think about you know, these points, because like I said, you really want to narrow it down, and also it just help you keep your content consistent over all the different platforms that you play on. Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. Absolutely. You're very welcome. Any questions at this point before I carry on?
No, I guess it's just really to let me have a little think here. So now the 30, so if I was going to go like 30 upwards, because I know where the younger ones would hang and what they're very much into, but the 30s up, they move on a different plane. They're down with the kind of going out to meals in the smaller groups.
Yeah, and it just could be a case of like making sure you have different products or, you know, different packages that speaks to them. So, you know, for instance, you might do like, I don't know, a bigger gathering where you have everyone show up for like cocktails or networking, and it's, you know, it's a free event because, you know, probably for the younger ones, they probably like that kind of stuff. And then you can have like more bespoke, nice dinner parties for, you know, the older, you know, women in the group who can then like really have that intimate time to share about what's going on in their work life or relationships and what they're looking for, you know. And also, or like, you know, you can also even segment that ideal, you know, that range, and segment them into you know, singles looking for relationships, or singles looking for marriage, or, you know, see, even within your group, you can then start breaking down and seeing like where are people at, and actually like really serving them at where they are in their journey. But that's more in depth, and don't worry too much about that for now. For now, we're just thinking about how do we attract ideal clients and actually identify who they are, where they are, what platforms they're on, and how we can start speaking to them. So this really leads me greatly onto like messaging and content. So like you've identified, Janice, that your ideal clients play on Instagram. Is there anywhere else that you think they would be on, or you could reach them?
Well, there's the Snapchat and all those other little ones. I know Facebook is probably a little bit dated for them. But yeah, Snapchat, and I don't know what else.
And how about you, Julie? Do you have any ideas of like potentially where your ideal clients could be hanging out in terms of social media or offline?
Yeah, I know where they hang out. So they're using they're hanging out around you know, salons and spas and leisure centres and gyms, expensive hotels.
Nice.
In the area. They're aged 35 to 55 years of age. Women in business, but I do work with men. And they use Facebook. They also use Facebook. So yes, a lot on social media. So both offline and online, and the networking groups like Women in Business. They're all a significant part of these organisations. So they meet every morning. On a Friday, 6:45 in the morning.
Wow.
They spend time together, and then they get on with their day at 9 o'clock in the morning. So, and that's at one of the local hotels in Hull. So
amazing. So what's really great with you, Julie, as well, is that you know that they hang out like on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. Now, one of the things as well that you can do that's really awesome is repurposing your content, right? So you could write an article or a longer blog post that you put on LinkedIn as a means to, you know, share your information, educate your ideal clients about what's happening, how hypnotherapy can help people. And then you can actually then break that big blog post into a smaller, you know, maybe video, or, you know, like a 90-second video, and post that on Facebook and use a video, because video is on Facebook right now. Video is king, and it's only going to be more like in the next sort of 2 to 3 years. 90% of content will be video.
Wow.
So, you know, I would say start getting comfortable making videos of yourselves, guys.
Yeah, Denise, she keeps telling me, get on there, get some vibes. Don't you, Denise?
Denise is the queen. I love her.
She's the queen. She's the queen. She's the queen.
Her lives are amazing, and she's, you know, So learn from Denise and absolutely take on that coaching, because it will be really amazing and great for you guys to do that. So you can take a blog post and turn it into a 90-second video, post that on Facebook with a little comment about. So on Twitter, right, you can then take the essence of that topic and create it into a 140 character like heading, or put that onto your Twitter with a link, and link people to either the blog post or to your Facebook video, so you can read like one topic you can repurpose 3 times.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you don't have to worry about creating new content every day, or posting new different things in different places. You can create all your content and repurpose them, and just knowing which mode or which way to do that for each channel. Right.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. So that's also another important thing, your messaging, guys. So, how do you speak to your clients? You need to start learning about, and I would always say, do research before you start writing a whole bunch of like content. Do research onto like, what do they like? What do they watch? What are they reading? Where they're reading, or like what kind of programs do they watch? What magazines or books are they reading? Start snooping around in groups, like, and I'm saying this, like, literally snoop around in groups, start reading people's discussion boards, see what they're sharing. You will learn so much about what lands and what doesn't land. Start looking at other people's posts and seeing what kinds of posts get the engagement and what posts don't, right? And so this way you can start actually, you can start focusing the tone of voice, So for instance, if you're using LinkedIn, it's very professional, it's like, it's not very sweary. If you like to swear, I wouldn't say swear on LinkedIn, be very professional. And
it's completely different to Facebook and Instagram, completely different. It's a different language,
It's a different language. So you want to start learning the language of your ideal clients on the different platforms, so that when you're sharing your content, it's really resonating with them. Because again, this is where you can really build that brand loyalty and that trust. People, when they begin to like know, like, and trust you, they want to do business with you over and over and over again. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So you want to start. So you definitely want to do some research. Go around different groups, go on discussion boards, and just check out and see what your ideal clients, how they're speaking, what they're sharing, what kinds of posts they engage with, and what kind of posts that they don't. And you learn from this, and it's always tweaking. So I always say, put out your content, don't be afraid, and then you can start learning. Because as we go along, I talk about making sure, how do you measure your success? How do you know that you're hitting your targets? So by putting out your content, seeing who is either following you, liking your stuff, or getting in contact with you, you can start seeing which are the things out there that are actually making sense to my clients.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I'm going to drink some water. Give me 1 second. Do we have any questions at this point?
I'm okay, thank you, Gozi.
Okay, great. So another thing that's really important when it comes to branding is differentiating yourself. And differentiating yourself can be in a couple of ways. One is your brand positioning. So this is like, where do you position yourself in the market? Are you a low-level entry, business where you maybe you transact on volume? So for you to hit your profit line or your targets, you're volume based. Maybe you run like lots of events, and many people come to your events, and or you run like group programs, and you have X amount of people who come to your group programs. Are you a mid-level market level, in the hundreds, and you have like smaller groups, or you do one-to-one, or do you have you in the high end? It's a luxury package? Is this like in the thousands? You run programs for a few months or even up to a year? Like some people do like 1 year programs that are like their high ticket programs. So you want to start thinking about, where in the market do you place yourself? Because this again is going to determine how your ideal clients find you, and how you can then speak to them and attract them through your messaging.
Okay.
Someone just wrote a comment, so I want to make sure that I get all the comments in. Give me 1 second in the chat. Okay. Okay, we're looking at program structure next week. Perfect timing. Okay, great. So when you go through this with Denise next week, this is something to really think about where you're positioning yourself, and especially, you know, Janice, with the different women at different points in their journey and different age groups, this would be really handy for you to know, like, where do you position yourself, or more importantly, where do you position each package, and how is that package then really speaking to that ideal client? So this does require some thinking, guys, and I really would just say, you know, when it comes to your brand, you want to take time and think about what you're putting in place and how you're putting things in place, because this will really be beneficial to you in the long run, and how your business runs and how your business grows. Okay, so that's one way, is brand positioning, how we position ourselves to our marketplace and how we attract our clients through our positioning. And then the second thing is your brand identity, which I know you guys are, I think, quite excited to talk about and wanted to share, which is your, you know, the colors that you use in your logo and your website and your Facebook page and your Instagram feed and all of that. So does anyone have any questions about brand identity at this point? Or, yeah.
No, I'm okay. Thank you.
Okay, great. So your brand identity is really, think about it like this. The brand identity is your shop face. So when you think about when you go shopping, Julie, what's your favorite shop to go into when you're on the high street?
So I like Next, Superdry.
Yeah.
Dorothy Perkins.
And when you look at it from the outside, they have shop windows, right?
Yeah.
And you're usually probably quite excited to see what they have on the shop windows, because that draws you in.
Oh yeah, because that branding that draws you in, just to get you through the front door,
Exactly.
so that they get you to part with your money.
Exactly. Absolutely. Spot on. Spot on. So your brand identity is exactly that. It is the shop window. It's where you want to, like, really showcase, like, the best of who you are, right? This is where you want to make sure that you're, you know, and there's also different ways that you can do this, depending on, you know, your personality, depending on the type of industry that you're in, depending on the type of clients that you want to attract. So you want to start thinking about, when you get to doing your brand identity, everything that you've done up until this point. So your foundation, your vision, your mission, your values, your purpose, who your ideal clients are, where do they hang out, how do you speak to them? All of those things, all of those steps, you now want to bring all of that and look at it. You know, I like to do spider diagrams. Spider diagrams are like my best friend. And then I kind of go, right, so if I'm looking at speaking to maybe professionals, what kinds of colors do I know that they might be enticed with? So I would definitely go online and look at some, you know, colors out there and the meanings of colors, but just off the top of, you know, stuff that I know, if you think about professionals, they're on their computers all day, every day, right? Or on their phone, and they're just a lot of information is coming their way. So for instance, if you're talking to professionals, you want to use colors that kind of calm them, right?
Yeah.
You want to be able to, like, attract them by calming their minds and bringing them back to focus. And colors that do that are like the blues, right? The different types of blues can calm you down. The neutral colors, your champagnes, your beige, your, you know, white, silvers, those kind of colors, like, calm people down and bring them back to, like, being focused. And then you want
the colors that I'm using in the website.
Amazing. Amazing. And then, you know, you want to start thinking about, when you think about the brand positioning, and Janice, this might be really useful for you. When you think about brand positioning, you want to make sure that even though you might have a range of women who are in different parts of their career journeys, maybe some women are earning more than others, because you have women who might be at the top of their, you know, top of their careers and earning more, you want to probably make it aspirational as well, because you might have different packages. So I would go with picking colors that are aspirational. So even if I was a 22-year-old woman who came onto your website, I'd want to be like, oh wow, okay, this is like really amazing, and I might not be there yet to purchase the top end product, but this is just so fantastic in here that I actually want to make sure that I go out and do what I need to do to earn enough to get that high end product, right? So I would sort of say, make it more luxe and make it more aspirational, because you have such a wide range of age groups and possibly income.
Yes.
Yeah, does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because when even before I did anything, I was like, okay, what would I even call this? And the word that came to me was opulent.
Oh, amazing.
Luxury,
yes.
and lavish.
Yeah, and only just because you have that wide range of age group, and they could be in different places of their in terms of like earnings. I would definitely go for and again, I'm not saying you should do this like set in stone. It's an invitation and a suggestion to go more aspirational, just because of the different packages that you could be offering and the age group. Does that make sense? Yeah,
definitely.
Absolutely. Great. I like that. Excited. Yay. Great. I'm just checking how we're doing for time. Okay, so there's one more thing that I just wanted to cover. We've covered quite a lot of stuff here. So the most important thing really is, one more thing I want to cover is marketing, right? So just clarifying that branding is different to marketing. People tend to interchange them and think they're the same thing, but
they think it's the same, don't they? But it's not.
Yeah, it's really not. Exactly. So your marketing are the channels in which you take your message out to your ideal clients, right? Yeah. And again, we've mentioned a few ways, through social media or holding events, networking, so many different. So those are all the channels, right? That you market yourself, that you're in there, you're communicating. But branding is very different. So I wanted to make sure that we saw the difference of the two. Okay.
Yes.
And I'm just looking at my notes because I wrote a lot of things that I wanted to cover. We've actually done really, really well. Very impressed. Yay. Yeah, so I talked about making sure that you do research, talked about identity. So what I wanted to say is just to make sure that, when I talked at the very beginning of this, I said that there were 3 things that people really, when it came down to it, 1, they wanted to attract their ideal client. 2, they wanted to differentiate themselves. 3, they want to grow their business, right?
Yeah.
So ladies who are on here now and watching on the replay, my number 1 rule is always to tell people, you are a business. You are a business. And in business, we run our businesses to generate revenue and in turn make a profit. Okay? So you want to make sure that your activities, everything that you're doing, is actually revenue generating activities, right? So when you're creating your content and sorry about that. When you're creating your content, when you're speaking to your clients, when you're creating your website or your logos or building your brand vision, mission, everything that we've talked about today, I really want you to hold in mind that you are a business, and all of this has to really support that. Okay.
It has to reflect that, doesn't it? Yeah.
And everything has to reflect it. Everything has to be part of it.
Yeah.
Support you in your business, that you are actually generating income, increasing your revenues, and making a profit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure.
So I really wanted to just impart that with you and leave you there, because it's something that when we're building our businesses, we just keep thinking about putting out lots of stuff and hoping something sticks. But actually, when we do this work and take the time to do this work and build everything up, stuff does stick. which means that we're making,
Yeah.
we are generating revenues, we're turning the profit.
Yeah. If it's done in a structured way.
Man.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in a nutshell, why do we brand? We brand because it gives us clarity of vision, where we're going. It shows us who we're working with, how we're going to work with them, what we're doing. And most importantly, it gives us that real knowing that we're on the right track. And we can always tweak. So you can always tweak everything, guys. Nothing is ever set in stone. This is like your branding is like your guidance system. Think of it like, that's where you want to go. And these are the things we're going to do to build our business so that we get there, which is your vision, right?
Yeah.
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 Any questions at this point? Sorry, there's stuff in the chat room. Let me have a look. What do we have in the chat room?
It's only me in the chat room saying this is just brilliant. Like, it's just really great content. So I'll mute myself again. You've got about 10 more minutes. This is just really, really valuable information. And
thanks.
Yeah, we've got it recorded as well, so people can listen again and again. So this is
awesome.
Fantastic.
Great.
Thank you.
Great. So, yeah, I think, like I said, those are the three main things that people always come to me with when it comes to the brand. And these are really important things. So you just want to make sure that you're always serving your clients, you're solving their problems. And I always say the bigger the problem you can solve, the more they will come to you and the more they will want to do business with you, because you think about how you it's actually a really good exercise to do. You think about the brands that you absolutely love and you do business with over and over and over again. For me, it's Amazon. So I'll show you. I've been a member of Amazon since 2006.
Yeah.
Right. And
good brand.
Right. And I absolutely love Amazon because for me it is I always find what I want. Like I always find what I want. I cannot remember the last time I went on there and didn't find what I wanted, or at least they can point me in the right direction. Things are usually within my price range that I want to spend. And I must have about 7 different addresses on there. So wherever I am in the world, I get stuff delivered to me. And for me and my lifestyle, perfect. I do business with them. I probably buy something on Amazon at least twice a week. And when I have had issues with them, I can call them, leave my number, they call me back straight away, or email, and they are really great at solving customer
problem solvers.
Right? So you want to think about the brands that you love and start thinking, why do you love them? Like, what is it about what they do and how they do it that you love them? Because if you can start emulating the things that you really love, you can start bringing that into your business, and you can start attracting your ideal clients that way as well.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I was thinking because I love the whole thinking about that age range again. I personally am known for my hair and the way that I dress. So when it comes to branding, I just wondered if is it important for me to have a website and maybe advertise so people could see me, because
absolutely. I mean, Janet, you can build yourself as a personal brand. So everything that I've just shared, apply that to you as you're the business.
Yeah.
Right. So if people know you for your hair and your style, like absolutely use that as a way to draw them in. Like talk about hair and style and looking your image. I mean, like people want to know how to dress when they go on dates. They want to know how to do their hair. They want to know, they want to know all that kind of stuff. So it's a way in. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a way, and it's also a way that you differentiate yourself from what's out there currently as well. So it's actually to your advantage. It's your flavor.
Can I just pipe in about websites?
Sure.
What I don't want is anyone to stop making progress because they haven't got a website, because and you can I just don't want anyone stopping. I want to keep moving forward, and a website is something that could be developed along the way. It's not a deal breaker. It's not a
the website is that. It's no, absolutely, you're so spot on, Denise. The website is part of that. When I'm talking about the brand identity, which is further down the line, it's not the be all and end all. It's part of your brand. And for a very, very long time, I did not have one. In fact, I have like a landing page. I don't really have a website because it's not that, I'm not saying it's not important, but there's other ways, there's other channels that I use that are more important for me than a website. So I completely agree with Janice. It shouldn't be something that stops you. The colors, your logo, those things should not stop you from building your business or reaching your ideal clients. There's lots of ways that you can reach them, speak to them, attract them, other than your brand identity. It's just part of the system.
Okay, gotta get down with these videos.
Okay, so we have 8 minutes, and do we have any more questions? Because I'm happy to wrap up and just put a big bow on this and say thank you so much.
How can people connect with you as well, Ghazi? How can they find out more? And
so you will be receiving my ebook. I will send that to Denise, and you'll get that if not tomorrow. And you can find me on Facebook. My name is Ghazi Halima, as you can see on the box here, exactly as it is on here. You can find me on Facebook and connect with me that way. You can find me on Instagram through my business name, which is Goz Philosophy. So G-O-Z, philosophy, all one word. I'm on Instagram, and on Facebook as well. I have a Goz Philosophy page that you can connect with me that way.
Thank you, Ghazi.
You're very welcome. It's been my pleasure. Thank you so much for...
Yeah, it's been amazing. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for inviting me to come in. I really appreciate...
Ghazi, can I ask as well?
Thank you so much, Denise. Like, such a...
My absolute pleasure. Is there... can we leave a testimonial somewhere for you? Is there somewhere you'd prefer for us to say thank you for your time?
You can happily leave it on my personal Facebook page, and I can copy and paste it onto the
your business page.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, that's amazing. Thank you so much. That's been
thank you guys.
Really, really valuable.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ghazi.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Have a lovely evening.
Thank you.
Okay.